So the Kia Rio continues to kick my butt. Um, I still actually quite enjoy working on this one. It's well made. Quite impressed with the car itself. In other videos, I've changed the steering rack, put that back on again. It went on again relatively straightforward. But then when I was putting the steering column back together, so the U-joint that goes underneath the steering column on the inside of the car, it wouldn't quite click out or go over the spline. So I decided to start taking the rest of the interior to pieces, to bits, and I'll show you what I'm left with. So what we're left with is no steering wheel. Slightly modified. I don't think it's going to get through an MOT in the future like this. But to try and show you underneath here, there are two, I don't know if you can make them out. Where are we? There are two bolts. One's there. Oh, go on, focus on that instead. There you go. So there's one there, and then one the other side, very, very similar. You can just see it poking out there. There's two there. I think they're 12 mils. Let's have a look. Yeah, they're 12 mils. They don't come out very easily because everything's in the way. That helps to loosen it, and then right up inside, oh, I can't even begin. So you've got a 10 mil just down there. That's the bottom of the steering column there. There's another one slightly further up. You have to forgive my shoddy camera work on that one. There's that one there, and then there's two more 12 mils that hold the bracket, which you can't make out very clearly from here either. It's up inside. Yeah, up inside there. It's easy to get to with an extension under there. In fact, let me try and get to it quickly. Let's see. So let's get a big torch as well. Oh, I lost this this torch, and I found it. It was actually attached to the chassis of the Discovery. I've been on a test drive, a couple of them, and it's still there. Right, so there's another U-joint. You can see with another 10 mil just there. And then there's another two, like I said, there's them two bolts up there. So that would be the entire column would come out if you remove all of that lot. I ended up loosening it and slackening it off just so I could get that universal joint to go over. And you can then see just the top of, just in there, that goes over the top of the steering rack, and then that goes into the outside of the car. So, where are we at? So in my haste and need to try and get this, not need to, I just, the job has been going on for a while. I put the steering fluid in, got it all checked out, and I thought I'd centered to the steering rack, and I can't have done. I must have put it slightly to one way. It wasn't quite right, but anyway, I put the steering, put it all back together again, got a steering wheel on, and then started turning the steering wheel. And I remember watching a video about the Discovery, actually. Someone put a heated steering wheel on, and then was talking through how to do it and with all the squib and stuff. So I'll just tell you now what I've tried to do here. So on here, when I've then turned the steering wheel around, you may realise that this is a bit of a problem, because it should only really go a certain number of directions, sorry, a certain number of turns in one direction before it gives you a bit of resistance. Now, I was almost on full lock on one side, and then I just had a big crack. So it must be inside here. This is only supposed to turn around a certain number of turns one way, and then a certain number the other way, and we've got none. I've also lost ignition, so there's no power to the engine. I've got the battery on charge just to check, and we're in a bit of a mess. So this video is a lead into, I guess, showing you what you shouldn't do when you're refitting the steering wheel, with the steering rack. But also, we're going to try and turn this into a bit more of a what you should do to replace this clock spring. And this is for a 2005. So this is almost like the intro. I guess I'll do a part one for this, for the intro. And then when I get the new clock spring, I'll talk you through how to refit it. Taking it off wasn't massively complicated. The steering wheel itself, there's a bolt on here, which you can get out, and I think it'll probably be easier for me to do that when I rebuild it again, just to explain to you where it comes from. There's a bolt on here that takes that off. It was a bit persistent, it wouldn't come out. Like, the steering wheel was absolutely determined to stay in place, and then it's a case of the actual steering wheel itself. I've taken a bit of plastic off as well, look, from the back of it. The steering wheel itself, that was where it's held on in the middle. It's got 3, to get the surrounds off, like the plastic surrounds off on here, they're all down here, look. So there's 3 screws, which are these 3 screws here. Those 3 screws hold on the plastic surrounds. I'll point out where they are. I think it's very similar on a lot of Kias. And then these 3 hold the airbag in place onto the steering wheel. So they go up through and behind the, there you go, look. So that's the back of the steering wheel. And you can see 3 holes there. That's where those screws or bolts go into to hold the steering wheel, the steering wheel airbag in place. I will put it back together again and show you what I'm doing. Also what I do, whether I remember to do it on the video for the next time, is I'm going to take this off and then I'm going to get a set of grips on here and fully centre that. It should be centred to the outside of the wheels, and we'll hope that I've not completely messed up. I've got a total complete failure on the tracking. It might have been just slightly out on there, but I'll centre that, and then when I get the new clock spring, again I'll centre that. The way to do that should be that you stick it at the top, count until you get resistance one way, count until you get resistance the other way, half it, and then that should be the middle. The plugs here, so that's the plug for the airbag. It's got no steering wheel controls on this car. So this one was, I think that's just an earth in there, and that's for the airbag. I haven't yet noticed the little notch. There'll be a little notch somewhere to take that clip out, or maybe not. I don't know. I see what comes on the new one. But yeah, so there we go. I just thought I'd add an update onto the end of that actually. The clock spring itself has come off. To take it off the vehicle, there was a tab up here, and then 2 tabs around the side. You can see the, oh, it's hard, I don't want to make it fall open. So there's one there, one the same, the other side there, look, and then that is a metal clip, or that metal clip there clips onto that top piece there. So only, I thought it would be like some small screws at the back. Then on the back here, you've got this tab which flaps open. First of all, that will, I think you have to pinch the sides, and I think that's how we did it. Pinch the sides to flip it open, and then pull the tab on the top there. That's that yellow one. So you pinch that one downwards, and then the white one, you pinch that again to get that out. But then open up the clock spring itself. I wanted to have a look and investigate. My neighbour is a bit of a mechanical genius or engineering genius. He may want to take this off me and refurbish it and flog it on. But it's not a job I can do. But if you look at the little pinch tabs here, there's little pinch tabs all the way around. Then this metal one at the top, you have to put a little tiny screwdriver underneath that little bit there to release that one. And then it's pinch tabs the whole rest of the way around. Now, so we open it up, you can see, so you can see the little pins that are in the bottom there. So those pins at the bottom are those ones there. Then you can see that out of that comes this white tape, and the white tape comes in and then loops and then goes round and round and round and round, which then gives you the ability to obviously turn the steering wheel round and round. So that bit moves round. This bit stays static, goes round and round without causing many grief or much grief. So you can see there's little tracks that run down. There are little sort of fine wires. You can probably make them out just about, or there you go. So you can see there's little tiny wires that run up and down. And because these are moving parts, that's why sometimes if your clock spring starts to break, one of those wires might break and it might cause you a problem. In the case of a complete failure of the clock spring, it might be that is then relating back over to here where the ignition is. I'm hoping that's the case, because we do have a complete failure. It's quite obvious to see because it wasn't connected when I took it out. There you go. So that end there, used to be attached to those pins. The pins, we then take those out, are there. So it looks like the white tape, those pins are almost bared at that end, so that you've got a good connection. If you slide this yellow tab, it's not really easy to do with one hand, is it? Slide this yellow tab out of the way and move it. You can then notice that underneath the white tape, That's your little circuit board. Oh, that's your little circuit board, which is where all those little white, or the little wires inside the white tape. That's how they then connect to the pins. So because that's completely and utterly snapped, my guess is the best way to do it would be to remove that broken section, bare some wires on the broken piece, and then reconnect it, resolder it and everything. But that is not a job I want to tackle. Yeah, I'm not going near that one. But it may be refurbishable. Yeah, my neighbour might want it, so we'll see. A new clock spring is going to cost me £31. I just ordered it off eBay. It says it fits. There's a few different types. And it looks like that wire that I was talking about that doesn't come out. That's part of the unit. When you look at them for sale, it's part of that unit. So watch this space, and I'll put it back together again.